A pony is very expensive, and we have enough trouble paying bills as it is.
Yeah.
You sound like you're going to buy a pony. Promise me you won't. What was that? Was that a yes or a no?
Bah,
Those aren't even words.
snap.
Hello, and welcome to the Simpsons Countdown, the podcast in which we go back to the beginning and watch all of The Simpsons, tracing the creative evolution of the series and counting down to find the exact moment in which it began its downhill journey into irrelevance. I'm Erix Antoine, and this week I'm joined by my dear friend Arianny, calling in from the lovely state of New Jersey. Yes, I mean that. I'm not being sarcastic. We'll be discussing Lisa's Pony, which originally aired on November 7th, 1991. It was written by Al Jean and Mike Reiss, and directed by Carlos Baeza. In this episode, Homer once again disappoints Lisa by failing spectacularly as a father and causing her to be humiliated at the school talent show. To make up for it, he decides to get her the one thing she's always wanted, a pony. He then has to take 2 jobs to be able to afford the high maintenance costs of this luxury pet. In the end, Lisa decides to part with her pony, showing her father that he doesn't need to buy her love. It's an episode that neatly balances its humor with moments of poignancy, features some genuine laughs and inspired sight gags, and finds The Simpsons on very solid footing on its way to establishing itself as the best comedy series of its era. Arianny and I are about to get into it all, so without further ado, here we go.
I'd like to borrow $5,000.
Hello. Simpson, eh? How can I help you?
Mr. Burns, you do this personally?
No, it's a hobby. I'm not in this for any personal gain, heavens no. By the way, are you acquainted with our state's stringent usury laws?
Usury?
No, silly me. I must have just made up a word that doesn't exist.
All right, well, welcome back. Welcome back.
Yay.
Here we are examining the continuing saga of Homer's inefficiency as a parent. Homer's excessively bad parenting, if you will. Because he's a bad dad, right? I mean, I don't.
He's complicated, which I guess is the point of this episode. It's just like he tries badly.
Yeah, he tries badly. I think it's funny, of course. It's the setup for the episode. It's supposed to be funny, and it is funny. The idea that all he has to do is quite simple. Lisa's very clear. Asks him to do her a favor and just pick up this, what is it, the reed, like on the way home. On the way to the talent show that he's gonna go to anyway. He was already going to do that. So just stop by the music shop, pick up a reed, which he totally could have done, but he decides to. The store's got 5 minutes to go. He decides to get a beer. I
have
love
time.
that. Yeah, I have time, and I love how he goes into Moe's tavern. Moe's like, why don't you go there first? He tells him the logical thing. Like, I've only got 5 minutes before the store closes. It's just like, why don't you go there first?
But it's so dumb is that he knows he has someplace to be. Even if he didn't have to get the read, he knows he has someplace to be, and the fact that he's like a dog where he just gets distracted and it's just like, beer.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's the over the top. I mean, there's always a sense of allegory to these stories, and I think that this is just the over the top way for the episode to illustrate how minimal a priority Lisa is in Homer's life. Not life, but his mindset. She's such a minimal priority that this one simple favor that she asks is something that ultimately he'd rather get a beer.
Lisa knows that too, because she's like, I asked everybody else first and they couldn't do it. I asked like 6 other people. I asked some random stranger who had terminated our house before I asked you. And still, he could not come through.
he lives up to her vision of him, to her expectation of him. She does not expect much from him. So this minimal favor was like the bare minimum that he could have done.
Mm-hmm.
And he does not fulfill his obligation. So, but that is an interesting point where, again, it's all done in the service of humor, and it's very funny. But when you're analyzing what's going on beneath the surface, beneath the humor, you have here a little girl who doesn't trust her father, who basically goes to him as a last resort because she has no recourse. And the thing is, like, in his mind, because what's the first thing he says to her? Like, isn't this something that normally your mom is good at, or
Yeah,
something like,
pretty much.
sort of where you go like, yeah, maybe, maybe,
And
but
it's funny because there's this stereotype about dads. You know, even just the other day I think it was like a TikTok or something where the dad goes to the doctor's office and he doesn't know anything about his kids. He doesn't know his allergies, doesn't know kids' height, nothing about the kid. The mom knows everything. And
yeah,
I know a few dads like that who kind of relegate the child rearing, the important stuff that both parents should know, but the mom is definitely the one more in charge.
yeah, that's true. And like in my opinion, like I'm a dad, right?
Yes.
But I don't live with my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously there are things about her that I do not know. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not aware of. I haven't lived with her for a very long time. So, you know, I see her very frequently. We spend time together, but there are little details that obviously, if they ever come up, I have to consult with her mother, who's going to know more about those things. And given the situation, okay, fine, that's one thing. But I don't get it when it happens with parents that live with their children.
Exactly.
I'm
And
not trying to
somehow
be
it's
judgmental. I'm
even
not trying to be judgmental.
no.
I'm just saying that they're like, it's weird to me because when, in the brief time that my daughter did live with me, I knew more about her than I do now
Mm-hmm.
because we shared the same. Yeah, I knew what was going on in her life. So I find it weird when like a situation where it's not a broken home. It's not they're not separated parents. They live together. It's a family. It's a nuclear family, and it's weird to me.
But in kind of a way, Homer is a broken man unto himself, you know? He
Well, yeah,
he
that's true.
he forgets the name of the instrument that Lisa plays, even though it's kind of like a primary thing that we all know about Lisa. And even to the point where he's just like, maybe I should just give up on her and start over again with Maggie.
Right. Yes. He's already he figures I should just cut
He
my
was like,
losses.
I screwed it up twice. Let's the third one, maybe it'll work out better.
Yeah. Well, the implication though is that maybe with Bart he didn't quote unquote screw it up so much because there's that whole thing where like I know you love me so you don't get squat, right? And like his at least in this episode, his position with regards to Bart seems pretty assured. Like
Hmm.
he knows he's on solid footing when it comes to Bart. I guess because Bart is the boy, it's a cliche, but he gets Bart. He doesn't get
Yeah.
his daughter because he doesn't understand a little girl, but he doesn't even make an effort to try to understand a little girl.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's kind of the point here. It's normal. Obviously you like Homer can relate to a male child because he can put himself there because he can find a common ground there, but he doesn't understand the little girl's mindset, or he doesn't get that, but he doesn't make the effort to try. And that's, well, I mean, I guess eventually he does, but in this particular episode we see that he never has made
I'd
an effort.
argue that he doesn't try, honestly, with this episode. Because what Homer ends up doing is that he overcompensates. You
Right.
know, he brings Lisa to get this giant ice cream thing. Obviously, that's not gonna like do anything for her. And he's like, I will buy her a pony. Literally the
Right.
most expensive animal you could probably have
Right.
domesticated. And it's just like he overcompensates. And it's like, a lot of parents think that they just have to provide for their kids in a financial way, or spoil their kids or do something, and they're a good parent. And it's just like, no, you have to be there emotionally for your child, which
Yes.
Homer isn't at all. Homer isn't there emotionally for his children. He doesn't really have to overcompensate so much for Bart, I guess, but for Lisa, he really wants to impress her because Lisa, Lisa is Lisa. She's the smartest one out of all of them in the family, but she's also the most sensitive. So he overcompensates, and I don't know if he actually ends up learning in this episode that he doesn't have to do that to prove how much he loves her.
It's an interesting situation because, yes, he overcompensates. And by the end of the episode, it is Lisa who kind of has the growth, who kind of learns the lesson that she truly loves her dad. She loves her dad. Her dad doesn't need to do this for her to love him. Her dad doesn't need to buy her love.
Lisa had to give up the pony.
Right,
It's just like,
right.
Homer, why didn't you give back the pony instead of killing yourself and say, listen, I know you really wanted this, but I can't live like this. I just want to do the best thing for you. What can I do? But obviously, I don't know if the show could make that funny,
Well, yeah, you kind of can't make that funny. I think that you make it funny by overcompensation. You make it funny with an $85 ice cream sundae, which is that's amazing.
There's places in New York definitely they'll do like what's it called? Like Serendipity. You'll get a $85 ice cream there for sure.
But it's not meant for one person, right? I mean, it's this giant mountain of ice cream that you're supposed to share. I'm assuming, or
I don't
is
know.
it like
I honestly don't know. I've only heard of this place. I've seen the movie that they did with John Cusack, and I don't know anything else about it except that it's a ridiculously expensive like coffee shop.
Okay, well, hang on a second. So the place is called Serendipity.
Yes.
And so wait a minute. You're telling me, because I've heard of this movie, but I've never seen it.
Yeah.
And so you're telling me that it's called Serendipity because of a coffee shop?
It's called Serendipity. All right, so here it's John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale, right? They kind of like have a meet cute or whatever, and it's kind of like they just keep meeting each other, and they're just like, wait, this is weird. And then they kind of like come up with like this weird, like convoluted, like, if you find this random book or this random whatever, then it means we're meant to be together. It's freaking weird. But there is a coffee shop in the movie, and it's a real coffee shop in New York. It's called Serendipity. And it's like that kind of place where you get coffee, you get dessert. Like it's supposed to be like really good. It's somewhere in, I guess, Upper East Side. I don't know. But yeah, they have like really expensive dessert.
Of course, it's in the Upper East Side.
I think I can't be sure. I could be making that up. Now I gotta like make sure because I don't even know if they're still around. I can't imagine they would how a business like that lasts.
That movie sounds so obnoxious.
No, it's really cute. No.
Really?
It's cute.
Okay,
It's
okay,
cute.
right.
I like it. I like it. I like the movie. I think Hank Azaria's in it actually. I think
Hank Azaria, he might be.
Yeah.
He probably plays a waiter. He probably plays an ethnic waiter.
No, I could be confusing it with another movie he's in where he plays somebody ethnic. Anyway, it's on East 60th Street, so there you go.
So it actually exists, and
It
it's
does actually exist.
where you can buy an $85 ice cream sundae.
Frozen hot chocolate stars on this ice cream and sweets menu at this old school dessert destination.
Yeah, can you check out, is the menu available online? Can you look up, can you see it like really quickly? Can you list me one of the desserts? Is it really like that expensive?
Outrageous banana split, $25.50.
Okay, well that's a lot. Wow, yeah, that's a lot for a banana split.
But I swear I've seen like a super like obnoxiously overpriced, like with gold flake bullshit or whatever. I think like maybe one of like those like one-time offer type things. Like here is a stupid expensive, $1,000 sundae.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Seriously, are you joking? Like there's $1,000? Wait a minute. So what's in that sundae? Wait a minute.
The Golden Opulence Sundae is a sundae that is served by special order at the New York City restaurant Serendipity 3. In 2007, it was listed in the Guinness World Records as the most expensive sundae in the world at $1,000. The restaurant has stated they sell approximately one per month.
I don't even want to meet. I don't want to conceive
I
of the
knew it.
of the douchebag that goes to a coffee shop and pays $1,000 for an ice cream sundae.
The
How
Sunday
big is
was
the ice
used
cream
at,
sundae?
the Sunday was used as a gag on a U.S. NBC series 30 Rock.
I Oh my God.
Oh, can I can I
You
can I read the ingredient list?
Yeah, go right ahead. Yeah, please.
I love that we've gone us on this tangent about an ice cream sundae because of one gag on The Simpsons.
Well, that's
All
what this
right.
is all about.
3 scoops of rich Tahitian vanilla bean ice cream infused with Madagascar vanilla and covered in 23-karat edible gold leaf. Told you.
Oh God.
Chocolate syrup is used from the melted Amade porcelana, one of the world's most expensive chocolates, and covered with chunks of rare chocolate made from cocoa beans harvested by the Caribbean Sea on Venezuela's coast. Sundays then adorned with exotic candies from Paris, gold-covered almonds, chocolate truffles, and marzipan cherries. A
Oh,
tiny
Jesus
glass bowl of
Christ.
Grand Passion caviar, an
Ew.
exclusive dessert caviar made of salt-free American golden curry known for its sparkling golden color. It is sweetened and infused with fresh passion fruit, orange, and armagnac, which sounds, I guess, like a liqueur. Edible gold leaf is made from pure gold that is compressed or rolled out into very thin sheets that are only a few micrometers thick and contain no other metals or impurities. It is finally topped off with a gilded sugar flour and sprinkled with small flakes of more edible gold. The sundae comes in a $350 Baccarat hardcore crystal goblet, which the buyer gets to keep.
Oh.
So you paid $350 for just a bowl.
Oh Christ.
That's what Homer would buy Lisa.
Yeah, that's you know what that is. That's entitlement. The dessert is what that is.
It's like one of those things where it's just like you can say like you saved up to just try it, and then you eat it, and it's just like this is not even like I could get Ben and Jerry's, and it's like the best ice cream I've ever had compared
Yeah,
to
you're
that.
not kidding. You're not kidding. Look. Here's the thing. I can't.
I would try Tahitian vanilla ice cream by itself. I would probably if I felt like if it was my birthday and if I thought I was going to die soon, then maybe I might buy it.
Well, you would come on. You would not spend $1,000 on ice cream. Like even if you had fuck you money that amounted to $1,000, if you spent it on ice cream,
I
I can't imagine. I'm like, wow. I don't like. I can't. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Like to have $1,000 of fuck you money that you have.
it is a lot.
It truly is a luxury in every sense of the word. It's like it truly is a privilege to
The
have
most
$1,000
luxurious
that you can spend on a bowl of
on
fucking ice cream.
on ice cream that has caviar.
That's disgusting, is what that is. I don't like.
It's hard.
I can't. I
It's
cannot
upsetting.
conceive. I thought $85 was obscene and a joke, and then it turns out that no, there's a real place where. And I'm assuming, is there a picture of it in the menu?
Let's find out.
Because I'm assuming it's not even like this giant mountain. The way that what they show on The Simpsons is this like gigantic mountain of ice cream that there's no way Lisa could have eaten that all by herself anyway. But the point, like,
Yeah.
it's clearly something meant for like a group of people to share. You know, it's one of those, you know, like when they bring that like brownie dessert at the restaurant, like they bring the birthday brownie like dessert with the scoop of ice cream, and they just bring one for the table, and you're all supposed to sort of pick at it. All right,
So you
well,
think it's like this giant thing, right?
well, I mean, I'm saying that I don't think that it is. I'm saying that I'm expecting it to be just like a regular bowl of fucking ice cream, like a regular sundae that you could get at Friendly's.
You have your phone near you. I'm gonna test it to you.
Yeah, go ahead and text it to me right now. That is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put this picture on the YouTube version, so people can see this fucking thing. This costs $1,000.
Yeah.
Fuck you, whoever would ever buy this. Like seriously, I am telling you this right now. Fuck you. I don't care who you are. I'm saying it to your face. Fuck you for buying this. $1,000 Oh my God. What is the world coming to?
It looks so
Jesus.
regular.
It looks so.
There's the caviar. It's on the side.
Yeah, it looks like you know what? It comes in a little bowl that looks like those bowls they give you at diners to put like
I
the
just,
when
I
when
just
they
think
bring the
I
butter
don't.
and the jam for like the continental breakfast. They bring you like the butter and the jam, and the butter
You know
comes in
the
little balls, and the
the
thing like
only reason I know what baccarat is because you ever seen the War of the Roses with Michael Douglas,
yes,
and
yes, of
they
course,
fight over the glass, and that part where he like ding, where he
yeah. Hmm.
they fight over those glasses, and they're baccarat. Like they make a big deal out of them because the crystals are so fancy and expensive, and I'm just like that's the only reason why I know anything that I'm just like, oh, they're good quality, I guess. Anyway, but the movie is good, and the restaurant itself is like incidental. They go to it like once, I think, it just happens to be, oh, the place is called Serendipity. Ooh, a movie where two people serendipitously meet each other and fall in love. I think it's a cute movie. Watch it sometime. This someday
Uh,
does not make an appearance.
sure, yeah. I mean, the place itself, I almost want to go picket it. You know what? It's not their fault for like. Well, it is their fault, but it's also like it's one thing to offer the fucking thing, but I really think that you're a worse person for buying it than for offering it. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, because
Uh,
I can imagine a chef honestly must have created this in his mind. And I'm sure it's good. I'm not gonna say it's not good. I'm sure it's great.
well,
But
I
like, but
suppose.
but those ingredients are just wow.
But
But
I'll tell you, like, for $1,000, that ice cream sundae better change my fucking life. You know what I mean? Like, I can't conceive of that happening. So, it's gross.
it's insane. And I'm sure
It's
I'm sure I think there's an article that's just like I tried this Sunday because I'm sure people obviously ended up
yeah,
doing research to see like what's
yeah.
the big deal.
I'm sure if somebody wants to go on go on the Vice website or one of those places, I'm sure they'll find an article where some guy or woman did this. So I don't know. Wow,
The most luxury dining experience I had in New York was I went to the Rainbow Room twice. I went twice, and
Oh,
I went the second time only because Matt Weinberg was there because he was doing a thing with like a big band orchestra. I had no idea that he had his own like big band thing, and
well,
I
but
was like, I have to go.
I mean, I'm thinking, wait, but Max Weinberg, I mean, when Conan O'Brien would introduce him as the Max Weinberg Seven, that's an actual thing
Hmm.
that exists. That's an actual
Yeah,
band.
yeah, but
So,
they didn't call themselves the Matt Weinbergs. It was like the Matt Weinberg something band or whatever. But
okay.
and it was around my birthday. It was like the week of my birthday, and he talked to me, and I was like, "I love you. You're in the E Street Band. I love you." Like it was like I mean, it was expensive. It was like I can't remember what it was, how much it cost, but we paid like a set amount, but we got like entree and appetizer and dessert. The only thing that wasn't included were the drinks. And it was like I want to say $90 each.
That sounds about right. But no, but you're talking $90 for like let's say a complete meal, you know,
Yeah.
and sure, it's more about the experience than the actual meal itself.
Yeah.
But that's a luxury. That's a I wouldn't begrudge you spending $100 of fuck you money to treat yourself nice and go to a fancy restaurant, have a nice full course meal, and you got Max Weinberg, and that sounds nice to me.
Yeah.
And it's not $1,000 for a bowl of ice cream,
No.
is what I'm saying.
No. They also had a brunch that I took my mom there for Mother's Day. I don't know if they still do it, but they had like a Sunday brunch every Sunday. And I took her
Mhm.
there once for Mother's Day, and it was like a full buffet. Good food. Regular food, but then also like fancy food. I had freaking no.
Eggs Benedict.
No. It was no, that's regular. I'm talking like
Yes.
what's the
I'm joking.
what's the thing where they do to the ducks where they
Oh
literally
God,
stick
the foie gras
foie
something.
gras, that shit.
Foie gras. You had
I had that.
oh no
I
well I
didn't know
mean
what foie gras was at
at
the
the
time.
you didn't know at the time. You just knew it was this fancy
No.
thing. Then you found out
Yeah.
how they do it, and it's like, whoa,
And
that's
then I
really
was like,
it's
damn,
hard. That's fucking horrible.
it tasted
Um,
good though.
Yes, of course. You stuff a duck with fat and you just like choke them to death, and then you eat.
Who was the crazy French bastard who found out about that?
Clearly, some psychopath. It's that's all there is to it. It's clearly
But
a
they had that
psychopath.
for brunch. I was like, damn, guys, like, okay. But then they also had like normal stuff too. But it was just like, it was nice. And that was like, that was less expensive. But even still, it was like for a brunch. I was like, damn.
Sure. Again, these are luxuries. You go like you again. You tell me that you save up a little bit of money. You want to treat your mom nicely. You would take her for a Mother's Day treat to like a fancy little restaurant buffet. You
Yeah, I
spend
would
about
never do
$100.
$1,000 for a bowl of ice cream ever in my life. I don't
Yeah,
care how rich I get.
that's what I'm saying. I think there are limits, and that goes beyond the limits.
Dad, you don't have to do this.
Yes, I do. You see, Lisa, grown-ups have a thing called money.
All right, so Homer's quick fix approach to parenting involves him buying Lisa an $85 sundae, which now seems like a pittance um, in comparison with something that you can find in real life. But that's why we went off on this incredible tangent.
I'm cracking up.
I hate the rich. Okay, Homer's drive home. Homer's midnight, middle of the night, early morning drive home is one of my all-time favorite gags.
It's so funny and also like legitimately relatable.
Yes. The I was telling you before we started recording this, I told you how I pulled an all-nighter last night, and so I'm pretty tired today. And so watching the episode again, I'm going like, yeah, this is totally this is we've all been there. You know, that thing where you just, and it's so nice. He's on the highway in his car, and then these like bunk beds, and like it looks so comfortable.
Yes,
Yeah,
but it's also scary. It's a scary little, like, it's so funny, but it's also like terrifying because it's just like, oh my God. We watched The Wolf of Wall Street last night, and it's just like thinking about that scene where Leonardo DiCaprio is just like completely high on the lemons, and it's just like he thinks he's driving home.
Right,
fine.
Exactly. Yes.
And then a couple minutes later, you see that he just completely totaled his car.
He was lucky to be alive. You're right. It's probably scary in the sense that falling asleep at the wheel is a very real thing that causes death. I don't know, like statistically, we're talking, I think, somewhere in the thousands or something like this. Of people who die like every year of like falling asleep at the wheel. It's just something that happens. And it is terrifying if you think about it realistically. But the idea of Homer driving home on this like dreamscape of a highway, surrounded by like lovely bunk beds, very comfortable looking
angels.
And angels who tuck you in,
and sleepy moon.
Yeah, the sleepy moon and like golden slumbers, like a beautiful Muzak version of Golden Slumbers just playing, and then
was that what that was? The Beatles song?
Yes, it's Golden Slumbers. It's an instrumental version of Golden Slumbers. But I just love it because it's like he basically has this beautiful. He just falls asleep. Somehow he makes it home. His car he's lucky he didn't total it. Pulls into the garage, walks upstairs, lies down, like for like not even a minute, like 30 seconds or less. He like his head touches the pillow, and the second his head touches the pillow, the alarm goes off, and he gets up again, and just he's like on automatic pilot. And that, like, I always thought it was funny. I thought it was funny when I was a kid. When I first saw the episode, I thought it was like really funny, but it became even funnier, like even more painfully funny when I became a working man who had to keep a schedule. So like the idea of, I was like, yes, we've all been there, man. We've all been there. Like, it's poor Homer, but that is one of the best Simpsons gags.
It really is.
Speaking of gags, they do a little parody of The Godfather, which is, it seems a bit forced. It's kind of like this is back before they were just starting to do these things. Mm-hmm. Where they would just try to figure out ways to insert little callbacks and gags that were parodies of movies, famous movie scenes. So you have like the thing on The Godfather, which whatever, and then it opens on a parody of
2001.
Yeah, 2001, exactly. It opens on a parody of 2001. You've got this. Those are just like parodies of movie scenes. I think these things get better over time.
I heard that 2001 was the most parodied movie on The Simpsons.
Not sure. I don't think it's 2001. I think it's Citizen Kane.
Oh, right, you're right.
Yeah, I think
Maybe.
Citizen Kane is the one they've done the most. Because I read somewhere that you could actually grab you could, if you grab you could basically recreate Citizen Kane using scenes from The Simpsons. That's what
Of
they've
course.
parodied so much that you could essentially recreate the whole movie.
Amazing.
So yeah, because of just with shots and things from The Simpsons. So yeah, I think that's the one that wins. But yeah, they've definitely parodied Kubrick uh,
A
overall
bunch.
a lot. Yeah, and they will do like 2000. This is a gag on 2001. They'll do this again. Like they will parody this specific movie again, of course, more than once. I like the character. I like the supporting character of the woman that runs the stables.
Oh yeah. The
She's
fancy
funny.
lady. Yeah.
The fancy lady with the inflection. But she refers to herself as patrician. Like so her patrician facade. The equestrian set, right?
Hmm.
Like those people, like high society.
This upper class type of
Yeah,
thing, you know.
yeah, very very upper class. But the whole thing, like, and then you have like she's riding around in the stables, and you've got like Ralph Wiggum, and I don't know who else, and it's like, yes, but what man can tame her?
That's what people associate, equestrians with, like East Coast high society types.
Yes, high society in general. I think royalty in general.
Because you have to
Uh,
be rich as hell to have a horse. You have to. It takes a lot of money to take
as
care of
as
them.
this episode makes very clear. To me, like I guess just because I just finished watching, well, not just, maybe about a month now, but I finished the fourth season of The Crown, and
Yes.
do you watch that?
Yes, I love it.
Yes. What did we think of season four of The Crown? Subtitle: Prince Charles is a dick. Is
Yeah.
is the subtitle of season four of The Crown. But there's a lot of well, I don't know if yeah, there's a bunch around like Anne and like her love of horses
Hmm.
and all of
And
that
the
going
and the
on.
queen's an outdoorsy type, more than you
Yes,
would
very
think.
very much so, and that was an education for me because I didn't. This has been an education for me because it's not something that I was familiar with. Obviously, I'm not really an Anglophile. I don't follow the royal family. I never really learned much about them until watching The Crown.
Hmm.
So I love how they paint the queen as a sort of outdoorsy type. She loves riding horses. That
She
all
would have
the,
been the fancy horse lady.
but not that fancy because like they had that whole thing in The Crown, and this was a surprise to me where like Margaret Thatcher, when she like goes to spend the weekend there, she can't stand it.
No,
Like she's just all like she's not about
she's
the outdoors.
she's too fancy for them.
Yeah, that's I thought that was funny. I thought that was really interesting how she's ultimately too fancy for them. Like, she has nice dresses and she's dressing all
And
fancy
good
to go.
shoes, and they're
Right.
like, "You didn't bring rain boots to
Like we're
walk in the
walking
mud."
we're walking out in the mud now, like what are you doing? And she's like, ugh, ugh, ugh. How great was Gillian Anderson? That was amazing. She's so good in the
She's very good.
but one thing that The Crown did, it allowed me to find a certain modicum of, I don't know if I want to say sympathy or empathy. I'm not sure if it's sympathy or empathy because I don't really, her politics do not align with mine. However, the way that she is portrayed as a strong woman with very specific principles and a certain sense of integrity and something, whether I agree with her or not is like
Irrelevant.
is irrelevant, but she's definitely portrayed as a person of integrity who had to fight her ass off. Like she had to work her ass off to get to the position that she achieved. And
I don't
so
think there's
that,
any denying that for sure. Like,
yeah,
there's no
like
denying that
that's admirable.
yeah, she worked to get where she is, and that's why she had certain positions that she had. But at the same time, it was to her detriment because she was like, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
She's very patriarchal. Even though she's somebody who accomplished things,
As a woman.
as a woman, she's very patriarchal. I think, like her mentality of it, because she goes like, I think she says something to the effect of women should not be in a position. This is in The Crown.
Leadership.
I don't know if
Yeah.
she actually said this. Maybe she did. But like in The Crown, there is a scene in which she says that. that she doesn't believe that women should have positions of leadership because they are too emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like she feels that she's outside of it or like she's above it, but she thinks she's better than everybody else.
Yeah,
She's
it's only I am capable of
right,
doing this
right,
task.
right. I mean,
I am a singular woman who
right.
is capable of this.
She treats her daughter like shit. She treats her daughter like
Hmm.
shit. And like her daughter calls her on it and she like just to her face says, "Well, it's because you're I don't know." She basically makes her daughter feel completely inadequate. It's like, I treat you like that because you're weak and you suck. But those scenes are very heartbreaking. She's revealed as a woman who essentially closed herself off from everybody. So
For
I was
dramatic purposes, possibly.
sure. Sure. I mean, again, it's important to highlight that The Crown is not a documentary.
It's a
It is
historical drama.
ultimately, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
historical soap opera, essentially, is what it is. So I'm sure that a lot of stuff is exaggerated for dramatic effect. I'm sure that it's not all that, but it's quite entertaining. And I recommend that our listeners watch The Crown. It has nothing to do with The Simpsons.
It's a very different show. It's like The Simpsons, but uh better production design.
Yes, yes. It's an upper class of Simpsons. It's a dysfunctional family of a different sort.
Every show is The Simpsons if you really if you really try hard enough.
Sure, sure, absolutely, absolutely. Like one of my favorite shows is on Netflix. It's called Dark, and it's about a small German town, a town in Germany. Well, they've got a nuclear power plant, so that's like The Simpsons in its own way. It's nothing like The Simpsons. All right, so what else can we say about this episode?
One of my favorite gags is when Homer's like when they're trying to like figure out what to cut from their budget to be able to afford the horse. Homer's like, "Oh, we keep getting these vaccinations for Maggie for these diseases she doesn't have," which I'm just like,
Yeah, that's a funny one. Yes.
it's a funny one, but also kind of like weirdly prescient.
A lot of Simpsons predictions, right? Like there was that whole meme going around about how Lisa Simpson predicted,
President Trump.
yeah. Well, they did that, and then they also like you had Lisa Simpson basically that she was dressed in the same or very similar colors, and even like the little
The
pearl
little
necklace
pearls that
yeah,
Kamala had at the
exactly.
inauguration.
Yeah, and that was going around, and they were going like, wow, that's kind of eerie
That's
and kind of
interesting and weird.
yes, it is. Like it makes you
And
wonder, well, Kamala Harris seems like somebody who's with it, and maybe she used to watch The Simpsons. Maybe she's always liked it. And she was like, I think I'm going to dress like Lisa Simpson for the inauguration. I'm going to wear like a cool, like purple blazer, and I'm going to find a nice little pearl necklace, and I'm going to go for it. And,
I think it had more to do with I think with her alma mater, I think.
oh, yeah?
I think so. But I think also too like because people were noticing, so you saw what Dr. Jill Biden was wearing? That particular color blue is like the color that you wear like, when you're a doctor of education, like those
Hmm.
frocks they wear at graduations, at commencements, and it has like
Sure.
those colors on them. That
Yeah.
particular color of blue is the color for doctor of education, which I think is a pretty boss move because people were giving her shit for being like, why does she call herself a doctor? She's a doctor of education. She was like, I'm going to wear my doctor of education colors. And I think that particular purple is for lawyers, I think.
Okay, all right. Well, I was not familiar with this,
Yeah.
but that also makes a lot of sense, and of course makes a lot more sense than Kamala Harris being a Simpsons fan and just deciding to dress like Lisa
Or
Simpson on a
both.
whim. Or both could be true. Both could be true. Yes. Yeah. The thing about the vaccine, the line about the vaccines. Yeah, Homer's not an anti-vaxxer. Homer just doesn't want to. He doesn't want to lose beer. He feels that. The thing is, though, like Homer is the sort of guy, beer, in Homer's case, I don't think Homer's not an IPA guy. You know what I mean?
No.
Homer's not a craft beer guy. Homer
He's a Coors Light man.
He's a Coors Light man. He's the guy who goes to the bar and gets like for him, the height of, let's say, sophistication is getting a pitcher of MGD. Like that's him. Like I just don't. So
What's the Simpsons beer? Duff? It's Duff,
it's
right?
Duff, which is it's got to be. Duff has got to be something like you just said in the Coors Light mold. Like I'll be nice because this is a beer that I like.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say that at best, it might be Yingling, you know, and it might be as good as Yingling, maybe. You know, this is a small town, little brewery, you know, so it might have sort of that going for it because it's Springfield. It's brewed there. Maybe it really is pretty decent beer, but again, it's not. You know, you can get the 12.
I can't imagine it's a good beer. I
Well,
literally can't imagine it being a good beer.
it probably is not. No, I'm trying to be nice to Springfield as a small town. I'm trying to support small businesses. I'm trying to support local businesses, and I think that Springfield probably has a local brewery. They brew Duff, and they're probably very proud of Duff, and maybe like they do deserve to be supported. Maybe they're trying their best. That's why I want to say that at best it's probably like a Yingling, you know, and I like Yingling, you know, but Yingling is the one where you go to the convenience store, it's available pretty much anywhere, and it's gonna the 6 pack will be what, $12, if that, probably
in
less.
the 90s.
And in the 90s it was probably even less. That's my point. Like in the 90s it was probably what, like $7.99, $6.99 for like a probably even less than that. I'm trying to do like a price relationship because you know in 1991 I was underage, so I would not have known what beer cost. I would not have had any idea. You know, my dad used to buy Heinekens by the truckload. I don't know.
God.
I don't know what Heinekens cost back then. I don't know. I know that today, like a 6 pack of Heineken is what?
I don't know. I don't drink beer.
I'm
No,
trying to.
I mean,
Yeah,
you know
it's got to
what?
be
You
about
know,
12 or 13
you know
bucks.
what beer I'll drink is Blue Moon beer.
Yes, of course it is. It's very
Okay,
good beer. It's very good beer.
cool.
There you go.
That's what I
Yeah.
drink. If I have a beer, it's gonna be that.
Yeah,
or
it's Belgian
or
white. I like it.
or Presidente. If I'm in DR, I have to be in DR to have Presidente. Like.
You are welcome to Presidente. You can have it. You can enjoy it. I'm not a big fan of that one. I'm sorry. I know you got to represent. I know you got to represent. That's fair enough.
Have you had it? Where have you been to DR and had it there?
No, I have not. So fair enough.
Then no wonder they're giving you the crappy shit. You gotta go there, ask for it cold, and they'll give
tap.
yeah.
Yeah, get it on tap because you're gonna get the pure El Presidente.
They give you you go to the colmado, they'll give you a jumbo, they give you the big one, and they'll give you a bunch of like plastic cups just so you can just start drinking it from the.
I'm going to remember that. So if I'm ever in like Punta Cana or something like that, I will be sure to yes, I will be sure to remember that. So yeah, how do we get there? Oh yes, we were talking about Homer and how he doesn't, he uses cutting off vaccines as an excuse to hold on to his beer, and it did make me think that now, as we record this, the rollout has begun. Here we are, the last day. This is being recorded on January 31st, and the rollout has slowly but surely begun. People are starting to get vaccinated. Good for them. That's great. Hopefully, everybody can get vaccinated soon. I mean, Jesus, this has been a crazy time.
How's the rollout going in Bolivia?
Terrible. I don't know what to say. To be honest, we're kind of in the dark right now because the current president is a fucking douchebag. He's non-existent. He's a non-existent entity he's there, and every now and then he'll make some proclamation blaming the previous interim government for anything that's happening now. But he's been president for the past 4 months. We haven't heard anything. We've got no plan. And they just announced something like, okay, 900,000, I'm pretty sure it was 900,000. 900,000 vaccines are going to be arriving. I'm not sure when. We're going to be getting the Sputnik, which I do not want to put that in.
What's that?
That's the Russian one. That's the Russian vaccine, the Sputnik.
Oh, are they really calling it that?
Yes, that's what it's called. As far as I know, it's the Sputnik.
Why? What are you scared of?
I don't know that it's Russian. I'm sorry to all my Russian listeners. If it's great, I'm sure it is. I'm sorry. I just I don't trust the guy that you guys got in charge there, and I don't know. I don't know if this is. And plus, I read somewhere that the Russian.
I mean, if it's good enough for them. I mean, if they're gonna do it, they're gonna put it in themselves.
But are they? I mean, the thing is, like, and I read somewhere that the Russian vaccine wasn't really like it's not that effective, apparently. It's like only at a 70% level or something, or less than that.
I think that's
So,
about as effective as a regular flu vaccine.
yeah, but isn't like Pfizer and all these other ones, like, aren't they better? Like, aren't they more?
I think they're at like maybe 90% effective.
Right, well, see, I mean, it's a big difference. That's
It's a difference.
20% is a big difference.
I know. I'm just saying, don't be mean to the Russians. They're trying their best. They have
Yeah,
good scientists.
they do. I watched Chernobyl. I know. Um, not great, not terrible. All right. So, what's the final word on this episode? What do we think of this episode?
Homer still sucks as a dad. Like, I'm sorry, because the reason why he overcompensates is because he doesn't want to keep spending time with Lisa. They have the little montage where he keeps trying to spend time with her, and it's not like he's not doing so well. And he's just like, if I keep doing all these girl things, I'm gonna go fruity. And it's just like, Homer, you have a child. You have two girls. Like,
Yes, yes.
you,
Like get ready to become a little fruity, Homer, because like I guess you want to raise two little girls. I think you're gonna have to do that.
yeah, you're gonna have to let her paint your nails. You're gonna have to
Right.
let her get makeup all over your face. Like, you're gonna have to like do little girl things if you want your little girl to like you. You can't just
Yeah.
buy her stuff and say, here you go, honey, and then think that's just gonna work out. And then of course Lisa buys into it because it's what she's always wanted, and she's an impressionable little girl. But that's not what children need from their parents ultimately. Yes, it's nice. Yes, obviously it's good to give them things that they like, that they enjoy, that are relevant to their hobbies. But ultimately, all she wants is a dad who is caring and mindful of who she is, of what she likes, of to just be present, to be present emotionally and mentally. And Homer
Yeah.
is not interested in it. And as much as he tries and as much as he sacrificed a lot in this episode. We see him like bust his ass in a quickie mart. But the point is, he does not have to do all that. It's not hard. It's not hard.
It is absolutely not hard. No, I can say as the father of a daughter myself.
You're a girl dad.
Yeah, I'm a girl dad. I'm a girl dad. I've never been worried about having to go fruity or anything like that. It is true. It's not hard. It's not hard to, or at least it shouldn't be hard, right? It's just about sitting down and understanding, not even just your daughter, your child, And in the case of a father and a daughter, yes, there's a little sort of a little bridge you have to cross there to get to that common ground. But it's not hard to do that. You sit down and you talk to the person, you get to know them, and understand, like what they want, what they need, and what they need from you. It's a relationship like any relationship, really. It's like it's about understanding and that kind of communication. And that's the thing. And that, like, I'm an estranged dad because I don't live with her. So I will cop to it in the past when she was much younger, and her mom and I had just broken up. Yes, there were moments of overcompensation. I think this is a normal thing in the early stages of a breakup and in the early stages of like being an estranged parent. That's why it's so strange to me to see Homer behaving like an estranged parent with a child who
He
lives with him.
Yeah.
Right. That's the part that's weird, because if they were estranged, okay, yeah, he's overcompensating. He's trying, he's trying to buy her love. He's trying to show her, yes, with me you get to have the fun. I'm the one who does this. I'm the one who does that. I can give you this. I can give you that. I can spoil you, silly, all of that. Great. Go and have fights with your mom. Great. But here, no, it's like you don't have an excuse, Homer. She lives with you.
And even like her most formative moments, he was not paying attention, even though he was in the house.
Yes,
he was in the house, but it's just like he wasn't present.
He recognizes this. Okay, I'll give him that much credit. While watching those home movies in which he is the most absent father, he's watching Fantasy Island instead of like he comes to realize, yeah, okay, I totally neglected. I totally fucked up. I do appreciate that, and this is frequent. The writers do this more than once. They do maintain Homer. He ultimately is self-aware. He knows that he sucks. And so he's trying. He's trying to do the right thing. You know, he's not callous about it. He realizes he fucked up. He knows he sucks. And now he's trying, in the only way that he knows how, to fix it.
She likes a little carrot after her oats. And she really likes it when you scratch her behind the ear. And if you're playing the radio, she likes contemporary adult in the morning and easy listening at night. Please take good care of my princess.
Although there is no change in my patrician facade, I can assure you my heart is breaking.
So that's it for this week's installment of the Simpsons Countdown. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this, consider showing your support. It's really very simple. Give us a like or a favorable rating. This podcast is available on Apple, Spotify, Anchor FM, and other podcasting platforms. So adding a brief review, if possible, might actually help boost its profile. And if it isn't too much trouble, please do share this with all your friends on social media. Speaking of social media, you can follow the Erix Antoine Network on Facebook or subscribe to it on YouTube. You can also follow me on Twitter at ErixAntoineNet, and feel free to find me and follow me on Letterboxd, where I frequently post film reviews you may or may not agree with. That's up to you. I'm Erix Antoine, and I'll be back next week to discuss Saturdays of Thunder, another story about Homer Simpson trying to somehow ingratiate himself with one of his neglected children. My good friend Chris Prentice will be along to discuss that, and I hope you'll join us. In the meantime, stay safe out there. See you next week.
On October 5th.
You don't have the most incredible night of your life with a perfect stranger and then leave it all to chance, do you?
No name.
I gotta find this girl before I get married.
No address.
I'm thinking about this mystery guy I met 1.5 million hours ago.
Just fate. Serendipity. Rated PG. Shh.
That'll do.
It's not my fault. It's the reed.
Oh, yes, of course. It's the reed.